Welcome, I'm here with TorchPrep. I'm Nick Shaver and we are tackling question number 45 on test 3. So I'm gonna have you pause the video, reread question 45 before we jump into it. All right, let's jump into this question. Now, we're tackling it with the word problem strategy, 1, 2, 3. So 1, what's it asking us? It wants the height. Perfect, boom. So now we've got to find this height. What do we know? Well, we know everything they give us in our picture. So the very first thing I like to do when I tackle this question is I like to think about it holistically. And I like looking at it and be like, okay, so if I break this down into maybe 3 different line segments, it looks like 3, okay, so now we know this bottom line segment because it's a rectangle, so if this is 30, we know this is 30, okay, so now we've got our bottom piece. And then we know something, if we draw a triangle here, right triangle, we see that this height is the same as this height, and then we know that we have a right triangle here. Okay, so now we have 3 pieces that we can add up. And very first thing, I like to think that if this is a hypotenuse, I know my legs have to be shorter. So if I add 140 and 30 to 170, I know that this distance has to be less than 170. Does that make sense? Right? Because if this is 100, I know my leg has to be less than 100. So now that you can cross off 2 answer choices right away. You can cross off 170, cross off 190, and now you're left with 100, A, and then these crazy 2 other choices with all these radicals. Okay, so now we've got to decide, is it 100? Let me double check. Was that 100? Yeah, is it 100? Well, it's probably not going to be 100, right? Because this is 100. You can just estimate it's probably going to be more than 100. So now we're already at the last 2. So it's one of those weird radical choices. So let's dive into which one is it? So you've been to boot camp. You've seen we've reminded you some of the things to remember with right triangles. Well, we notice we have a 60. If this is 30 degrees off the vertical, we know this is 60 and this is 30. All right, so if we have a 60-degree, 30-60 triangle and the hypotenuse is 40, there's 2 ways. You can look at a video that we're gonna post at the bottom that gives an explanation on 30-60 triangles and 45-degree triangles. But to have this memorized to help you save some time, you know that this length is half the hypotenuse, root 3. And you know that this is a 45-degree triangle, 45, 45, you know that this height is half the hypotenuse, root 2. And if you want an explanation again on how to do this, we'll have 2 links to 2 videos explaining how to do that. But now we have all these heights, 30 plus 20 root 3 plus 50 root 2. And now check it out. That's your answer choice. Letter E. And look what they did. The one right above that, letter D, they're trying to trick you. They took off the 30. So you feel real happy with yourself. Like, oh yeah, I got the 20 root 3. I got the 50 root 2. I got the hard parts. And I forgot to add on the 30. And that's trying to trick you and trap you because that's what the ACT loves to do. All right, good work.